Hello everyone, welcome to Kerala PSC HSA English classes. This is class 58. Sri Lakshmi on this side. We are moving on to the next topic, syntax of the module Linguistics, Phonetics and History of Language. Words are organized in principled ways into higher units like phrases and sentences. The rules and principles governing the arrangement of words into such higher units is technically called syntax. That is the structure of phrases and sentences in terms of words. The syntactic analysis of a language is a description of the structure of its sentences, of the principles of sentence construction in that language. A syntactic model or theory is a statement of a method of description of the syntactic structure of a language. Syntax is often considered as synonymous with grammar, and hence grammar also treated as an aspect of linguistic analysis. The traditional approach to the study of grammar underwent a radical change as a result of the rapid advances in the scientific discipline of linguistics in the early 20th century. The new scientific approach, especially the emergence of structural or descriptive grammar, raised objections against the old concepts of traditional grammar and exposed its inadequacies and fallacies. Like English grammar followed the rules of Latin language, the definitions of many of the parts of speech were based on meaning. And this was objected to by the structuralist since meaning is not objectively verifiable. And some were based on function, form, etc. Traditional grammar always adhered strictly to rules and norms. But as language is subject to change with lot of additions and deletions, we may not be able to follow the do's and don'ts of the traditional grammar, in which rules were prescribed. Even if when we follow the order, sometimes it may seem illogical. There will be lack of explicitness. And more than that, it always neglected the spoken form of language. And this led to the development of the structural or descriptive grammar, which was chiefly associated with the name of American linguist Leonard Bloomfield and his followers. They opposed semantic criteria and concentrated on formal criteria. They gave importance to the spoken form of language and analyzed the units and structure of language with all its varieties. And this structural approach was later modified into phrase structure grammar. Before moving on to phrase structure grammar, let me tell you about the immediate constituent analysis. Immediate constituent analysis, it was essentially a structuralist tool for syntactic analysis. It was first introduced by Bloomfield and systematized with theoretical formulations by Rowland Wells and Zelling Harris. This kind of analysis aims at analyzing each utterance into smallest meaningful units possible. These units at the last level are called the ultimate constituents. Phrase structure grammar is a method of structural description discussed by Noam Chomsky in his book Syntactic Structures. PS grammar contain a set of rules called phrase structure rules, PS rules or rewrite rules. These rules are capable not only of generating strings of linguistic elements but also of providing a constituent analysis of the string. Thus, they represent how morphemes are organized into words, words into phrases, and phrases into sentences in a way slightly different from that of IC analysis. The final string is called the terminal strings, in which you replace symbols by morphemes or words. The representation of the structure of a sentence is called its phrase marker or P marker. Every node in a tree where there is a branch is called a branching node, and one without any branch is called a non-branching node. PS grammar was further modified into transformational generative grammar, that is TG grammar, which is one of the most influential of modern linguistic theories introduced through Noam Chomsky's syntactic structures. TG grammar shows an essential relationship between sentences such as active, passive, affirmative, negative, etc. It shows how different types of sentences are derived from basic types of simple sentences through the application of certain rules called transformational rules or T rules. Such basic types of sentences are called kernel sentences. TG grammar comprises three components: syntactic, semantic, and phonological. But in the 1957 model, TG grammar is organized in three components: the basic component, also called the constituent structure or the phrase structure, the transformational component, and the morphophonemic component. Major syntactic structures in English. First one, interrogatives. Interrogative transformation rules are applied for constructing tag questions, declarative questions, yes or no questions, and with modal auxiliaries, WH interrogatives, and minor types of questions like alternative questions, exclamatory questions, and rhetorical questions. Second one is for negative sentences, that is, negation transformation is applied for the construction of negative sentences. Third one is for commands. Fourth one, exclamations. And the last and fifth one, coordination and subordination. In coordination, the conjoints are equals. In subordination, one unit or sentence or clause is embedded in another, and it is also dependent on the other. Subordination is a non-symmetrical relation holding two clauses in such a way that one is a constituent of the other. The device of subordination enables us to organize multiple clause structures, like nominal or complement clause, adverbial clause, relative clause, comparative clause, and comment clause. Next is focus and theme. English language organizes a spoken message into units of information as signaled by intonation. Each tone unit represents a unit of information, and the place where the nucleus falls is the focus of information. There are end focus and contrastive focus. And the initial unit of a clause may be called its theme or topic. There is both thematic fronting or thematization and inversion in thematization. Next is ellipsis. Ellipsis is most commonly used to avoid repetition. For example, we can avoid the repetition of come in she might, but I don't think she will, by the ellipsis of the word come. Another important reason for ellipsis is that by omitting shared items, attention is focused on new material. Have you met him? Not yet. I have not yet met him. That's the meaning. So here the attention will be only given to not yet, which is the idea or message. Ellipsis will be in coordinated clauses, phrasal coordination, dialogue, and also dependent on the linguistic context. Next is the schools in modern linguistics. The Prague School of Linguistics, which was founded in 1926, with its major exponents Roman Jakobson and Nicholas Trubetskoy. Their theory laid emphasis on the analysis of language as a system of functionally related units. The theory of functional style may be considered as one of the major contributions of the Prague school. Next is the London or Firthian school, which was developed in Great Britain based on the linguistic principles of J.R. Firth. And this theory includes major insights from the works of scholars like Halliday, Henderson, Palmer, Robbins, and others. They have the view that language patterns cannot be explained in terms of a single system of analytic principles and categories, but that different systems may be set up within a given level of description. Next is theories related to syntax or syntactic theories. First one is EST and REST, Extended Standard Theory and Revised Extended Standard Theory. The research work of Chomsky and his colleagues led to the formulation of a new framework, that is a standard theory, and later it was modified to Extended Standard Theory. And again, a further modification came in 1975, which was called the trace theory, and it is referred as Revised Extended Standard Theory. Second one is Generative Semantics and Case Grammar. Generative semantics has a notion of transformation, and it attempts to account for different surface structures in terms of the difference in deep structures. And Charles Fillmore is one of the exponents of this case grammar, which was much in common with generative semantics. According to Fillmore, the semantically relevant syntactic relationships involving nouns and structures are universal and form a finite set, and they are called case relations as distinct from case forms, which are language specific surface phenomena varying from language to language. Third one is a scale and category grammar, which was evolved during the 1960s, and according to this theory, linguistic events must be handled at three interrelated levels of form, substance, and context. Fourth one is systemic grammar. M.A.K. Halliday's systemic grammar aims at a functional approach to the study of the language. That is the ideal function, the interpersonal function, and the textual function. Fifth one is stratificational grammar, which was evolved during the 1960s, which is based on the dictum that language is essentially a code, and such it links a set of signals with a set of messages. Sixth one is Tagmemics. It was formulated by K.L. Pike and his followers. They considers every language to be trimodal, that is, structured in three modes: phonology, grammar, and lexicon. And the seventh and last one is Glossematics, which refers to a formal approach to language study in the 1930s. It was propounded by Hjelmslev, the leading Danish theoretician of the Copenhagen School of Linguistics. In this view, popular language was seen as one kind of symbolic system whose special features would be clarified only when it was compared with other non-linguistic symbolic systems such as logic or dancing, for instance. So here ends our class on syntax. Hope you have liked it. Thank you everyone, and check out the meanings of the vocabularies that I have given during the last class. Bye everyone, and stay tuned with the channel. Thank you for all your love and support. Please like, share and subscribe my channel.